Good afternoon, preppers. SHGF here. How's everybody's day going? Figure I'm going to drop another video today. We're going to talk about winter preparedness. So winter preparedness is a very important topic for me as I live in New England and New Hampshire. So we're getting into the time when it's getting cold and we need to start preparing. So I jotted down a bunch of things to kind of go over and talk about with you guys and make sure we're all ready for whatever comes this winter. So why is preparing for the winter important? Well, obviously it's going to be cold, snow, ice. Is a change of climate here, and it's dangerous. So if you're trapped in your vehicle, pulled over to the side of the road, something happens, you get a flat tire, big storm, power outage, all those things that could possibly make you uncomfortable when it's freezing cold. That's why you want to prepare. You want to be ready. So when you're thinking about like the winter, what are the hazards? So to me, there's a few. So we got like blizzards, power outages, extreme cold. Those three things up here in New England they're brutal. So you want to make sure you have a pretty robust plan. And the ultimate goal of, winter preparedness is you want to make sure everybody's safe, everybody's warm, and everybody has access to what they need in order to be comfortable. So I would say that's the main points of why we would prepare. So we'll move on. So let's start at the home. So home preparedness. Just a couple of things that you'd want to do is just some like pre-inspection of your home. You want to make sure you're good. So you want to just inspect your house around, make sure there's no cracks or holes in any of your, foundations or siding or anything. You want to inspect and improve it if you need to, your home's insulation. So around your doors, your windows, you want to make sure you don't have any cracks. If you do, you want to fix that. You want to make sure you have no draft under the doors, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to want to check all that. You're going to want to make sure your heating system is working and it's functional. Hopefully you've had your service or did it yourself. What do you want to do? You want to make sure if you have a wood stove, you've done your proper cleaning. Your wood stove is serviceable and in working order, and obviously you have your stockpile of wood. If you have propane heat or gas or oil, you want to make sure again you're filled up and ready to go. And any other kind of heating source you may use, same thing goes. So you're going to want to make sure you have the appropriate fuel to get through the winter. Another good thing as far as winter preparedness for your home is, do you have a generator in case you lose power? So there's different ones. You can get whole home standby propane generators. You can get gas generators. You can get dual fuel, tri-fuel generators. Ones that, plug in to your house, and then you have a switch that turns the power from the generator to power your house. But I think it's pretty important to have a generator. I have one, and coming up this weekend, I've got to change the oil and make sure we're good to go because I have been running it for other reasons. So that's the next thing with your generator. If you have a generator, you're going to want to make sure you have it serviced, up to date, proper oil change, and the whole 9 yards. Another thing you could have for backup power would be portable power stations or solar chargers. But again, that's going to be weather related. So if the sun's out at all, that may work for you too, in an emergency. The next thing is you want to make sure you check all your water pipes. Make sure you have the proper insulation. You don't want anything to freeze. And if you had anything freeze last year that didn't blow up or anything, make sure that you take care of those this year so they don't have that same problem again. Another important thing is know how to shut the water off to your house. If a pipe bursts, you want to make sure you can kill obviously the water to the house so you can stop the damage that's going to ensue. So if you don't know how to shut that off, I highly recommend you figure that out. Okay, moving on. So like up next for me would be winterizing your home. So weather stripping, caulking the windows, all that kind of stuff. You know, you want to check your roof, check your gutters, and make sure your carbon monoxide detectors and all that other stuff and smoke detectors inside the house are good to go, especially if you're burning wood or, you know, your heat is on. So you want to make sure if there's any gas or anything coming into your house, you have the appropriate alarm to alert you so you can take action. So as far as the home goes, I think that's down and dirty. So basically, you're going to want to check all your stuff. You know, make sure you have no gaps. Make sure you have nothing. No air getting in anywhere, anything like that. So make sure you do that. It's very important, or you're just going to lose heat, and your house is never really going to be warm. Next thing, you're going to obviously want to check your preps. So start with your supplies. So your food, you want to have your non-perishable food, you know, canned good, freeze-dried stuff, all that kind of stuff, MREs. You want to make sure you have a stockpile of water. It says 1 gallon a day per person for 72 hours. I don't think that's enough water. To me, that's survival water. Stock as much water as you can if you're in your home because you're going to need it and you're going to want to use it. Make sure you have a manual can opener for any of those non-perishables. On top of the non-perishables, make sure if you have a storm coming that you try to get some food that isn't non-perishable that you're going to eat anyway. So your non-perishable is going to be in case it's a long storm, but if you can get to the store, get some more food. Your medications and first aid, you're going to want to make sure you have all of your scripts. So if you need to pick them up before winter, you can get a few months supply or whatever, make sure you have that. Make sure you have like winter related first aid items. So like cold and flu remedies, cough drops, all that kind of stuff. Important to have. Again, there's a storm, you're getting sick, now you're screwed because you can't go out, you can't get anywhere. Get it ahead of time. I'm gonna hit one more thing again that we kind of covered. So like it is very important to make sure you have the stockpiled fuel for your house. I'm going to cover that again. So if you burn wood, have more wood. If you burn propane, make sure it's full. If you have oil, top off your tank. Because this is the most important stuff. You have a gas generator, make sure you have the appropriate amount of gallons stored in wherever you have your generator. In your shed or your garage, wherever it is. Just make sure you do that and don't forget. You're going to want to make sure you have some type of emergency kit. We can call it a bug out bag, emergency kit, whatever you want, but you got to have the basics in there. Especially you want to have battery powered or hand crank radio. Make sure you have extra batteries. Make sure you have blankets, warm clothes, all that kind of stuff. And make sure you have it there. And then your basic bug out bag. So basically you're just adding more stuff to it. So your bag in case you need it, plus your radio, plus your batteries, plus your blankets and warm clothing. you're gonna need it. Um, for in your vehicle, you want to make sure it's a little bit different. So, uh, blankets, extra clothes, gloves, hats, non-perishable food. I would definitely have, some protein bars, some water, all that kind of stuff out there. Uh, and then your other basic things you should have: jumper cables, your ice scraper, your brush, a small shovel, some road flares, emergency markers, either or. If you need it, tire chains. If you need it, there's different things you can get. And then you're going to want to have a basic first aid kit in your vehicle. So, bare minimum for winter preparedness for me. So on that, we'll talk about prepping your vehicle itself. So you want to do all your basic preventive maintenance on your car or truck, and then you want to check your tires. You want to make sure if you have snow tires, you change them. You want to make sure you check, like, top off everything. So your antifreeze, your windshield wiper fluid, and your oil, or get an oil change before winter would be good too. You want to test your battery, and you want to keep your gas tank full to avoid freezing lines. So in the winter, I usually don't let my truck get past half tank ever, but in the winter I usually try to top it at it's a lot of stops, but top it at a quarter or a little over a quarter, just so I don't have that problem. There is some safety essentials that you want to have with your vehicle. So you do want to have your car kit, which we talked about above. You want to have, obviously, car chargers, and if you could, one of those backup battery packs inside of your car in case you got to charge it or something happens. You want to have the appropriate maps in paper or in a GPS if you can. So GPS is a personal choice, but you want to make sure you have maps in case you need them. That brings us to personal preparedness. So personal preparedness, we want to make sure we're dressing in layers. We have thermal undergarments, insulated undergarments, water and windproof outer layers, all important. If you're going to invest in anything for winter, you want to have high quality winter gear, like boots, gloves, hat, scarf, whatever you're going to wear. Don't skimp out, because it's important that you have something that's going to last if you need it, or be warm if you need it. You want to avoid cotton, and you want to prioritize your wool and synthetic fabrics. They're warmer, and they're made for the winter. You want to take your health into consideration. So, just some precautions you could take. So you can limit your exposure to the cold. You're going to want to stay hydrated and maintain your proper nutrition. And you want to make sure if you're getting cabin fever or any of that kind of stuff from being locked in for the winter, you're not doing anything or going anywhere, you're going to want to make sure you manage your mental health. Whatever you got to do. Everybody's different, but you don't want to go stir crazy because we've had big winter storms and you're stuck in the house. Next would be communication plans. So I made a video on family communication plans, so you can go back and watch that if you want to. You don't know what that is, but you want to, with winter coming in, it's a good time for rehearsal to kind of go over everything, make sure everybody knows what their role is and everything in your plan, whatever it is. So you want to make sure you're doing that. Your meeting points, physical communication, radios, checkpoint, all that stuff, go over it. If you haven't met your neighbors, that's a good thing to do. And otherwise know where the elderly are. So if there's a bad storm, you can go down there and check on them. I mean, again, that's the right thing to do. You can get involved in any of your neighborhood community stuff around winter. Some communities have, plowing and all different things you can do. You can get involved in that kind of stuff. And the biggest thing you can really do with the storm or winter coming is stay informed as best you can. Have your weather app out, checked online. Always know what's coming so that you can be one step ahead of it. So weather app, weather updates, and then any kind of local emergency notification. So if your town has a website, check it. Local news, check it. Make sure you know if there's a storm coming. And if there is a big storm, avoid travel at all costs. If you don't have to, don't. It's not worth putting yourself at risk during a bad storm, even for your work, despite what they will tell you. So if you have time, I'd use it. So, in recap, we covered a lot of stuff, but this is just some basic highlights of things that you should do when getting ready to prepare for winter. Proactive planning is going to be your friend here, and you want to make sure that you have a safe and manageable winter for your family, where your house or your homestead is running like a clock, meaning you got fuel, you got water, you got food, everyone's warm, and you have no issues. So hopefully you got something out of this video. Again, it's high level. I'm going to break down a few other things here probably tomorrow, because it's about 9 o'clock here, and I'm going to get this up and wrap it up. So with that, this is SHTF, and I'm going to sign off. Keep prepping.